Hello, everybody, and you're very welcome to this episode of Successful Perspectives. Successful Perspectives, of course, is when we deep dive into the topic of leadership with one of our members from our very selective network, Boardroom by EMIR. I am delighted on this occasion to be joined by my friend, Saad Maniar, who is the senior partner for Crowe here in the UAE. Big professional services company. Saad, always great to see you. Thanks so much for sharing your time, and you're very welcome to Successful Perspectives.
Pleasure meeting you, Trevor, as always.
So usually when you and I meet, we're talking about what's happening in the region. You're sharing insights from a professional services perspective as well. Today's conversation is really about you, and it's about leadership. So I think a good place to dive into the conversation would be if you could share your definition of leadership or some of your central tenets that you see about leadership being all about.
Different leaders practice in a different manner, and whatever works for them, it's fine. However, we being in the professional practice, we our practice revolves around the people and management of the people. So, for my leadership style is built around the people. The few tenets that I would say that I practice on a regular basis are number one, independence and integrity. That has to be the fundamentals of our practice, and there has to be no compromise whatsoever in that. The another one is the value of care. Whatever we do, we have to do with the element of care in mind, and we have to see the best interest of our people and our clients. The third thing I would focus on is that in order to gain something, we have to be the first one to give, so that we can reap the benefits in the longer run. So they invest time, energy, and resources into our people to allow them to grow naturally. And with their growth, we grow naturally as well.
I've had a lot of these conversations, Sad, with different leaders here in the region. And it's the first time I've heard independence being mentioned. Explain to me how you look at that and the meaning of it in terms of your organization. Is it independence for the team, or how do you see it?
Yeah, so independence in terms of the mind, body, and spirit, all together. And when I say independence, I mean there has to be no bias towards anyone or anything, whether it be the client, whether it be your people, or whether it be any other stakeholders. So that independence of mind is very important. And when you have that, and then you will make the right decisions which are in the best interest of the firm and which will give the value back to your clients and customers. So this is very, very important in the professional practice.
Yeah, I love it. I hadn't heard that one before. Um, I suppose when you were thinking about this conversation or this chat that we were going to have, you probably reflected quite a bit on your leadership philosophy, right? But is that something that you do often? Because in these conversations, what I've noticed when I'm talking to a lot of our members, they say, actually, in preparation for this conversation, it really gave me an opportunity for introspection and actually think about my leadership philosophy, think about my leadership style, because obviously we get caught up in the day to day of everything. Do you get an opportunity to reflect on your leadership philosophy, or what did you think during the process for preparing for this conversation?
Yes, obviously, it gave me an opportunity to reflect and think from that angle. But for our core values of care, share, invest, and grow has been embedded in me so much so that in every decision that I take, you will see the reflection of our core values of care, share, invest, and grow. And however, from time to time, we need to realign our thinking, we need to realign our strategies. And at that time, the reflection on our tenets that we have as a pillar or as a principle has to be reevaluated. And more importantly, to align the mindset with that of the other management team. Uh, in most of the cases, what I have experienced is that the results of any kind of leadership style, or the results are normally seen in the longer duration. And when the time frame is longer, the alignment with the management team and the board is very important. Otherwise, the whole strategy could fail. The reason being is that different leaders operate in different manner, and certain leaders have the mindset of delivering results in short term, whereas certain would have the mindset of delivering it in the longer term. And once we have that alignment in place, then it becomes easier for the leaders to manage and deliver the results as desired by the company.
And you mentioned there about the results for the company, but how do you measure the success of your leadership? Does it just simply reflect on the results of the company, or do you look at it in a broader context?
To be honest, this is a difficult question to answer, but the harsh reality is that success is measured based on the growth in the top line and the bottom line. However, to me personally, the trust and the respect which I gain within the professional community and with our people is more valuable, and it has more intangible values. Having said that, it's not only about the trust and respect that eventually will translate into the results, which will be reflected in the top line and the bottom line. So I'm happy with for the benefits derived from the intangible things in the longer run.
And I remember, I think it was last year we were chatting, and you were telling me about how you get at Crowe, Crowe itself is a family, and it's thought of as a family. But then you even bring the family of the employees in, and you do retreats and whatnot. And there's a real focus on looking at everybody in the holistic sense. Is that where you gain a lot of personal satisfaction with things like that, and creating a real sense of community and culture?
Yeah, absolutely. Giving back to the community is something which is very close to our heart, and our core philosophy, or the values on which our firm is built, is on the care and share. So we truly live with our values of care and share. And by doing such small endeavors, if this brings happiness to our people, then we'll be more than happy to do it again and again. And we have seen over the years that this kind of endures into for the great results for our firm. I can tell you a small story just happened yesterday. One of our manager is moving to UK, and we did a small farewell at our office. And while I delivered a small a note in appreciation of his time and effort at our firm, and I gave him the opportunity to speak as well. He just spoke a few words, and the tears were flowing from his eyes, and he was not able to speak. And that's the kind of culture which we have created within our firm, that people really get so much attached to it. They do not want to leave our firm, but sometimes people have to take hard decisions because of they have to take care of the best interest. They have to take the best interest of their family.
Yeah, for sure. And a lot of that comes down to the leadership of any organization creating a climate that allows that to happen, which makes me wonder, When you were starting out in your career, would you have considered yourself a natural leader? Because what's interesting is talking to a lot of our members who are, at the very top of large international organizations, overseeing large regions, overseeing thousands of employees. I would often just assume these guys and ladies would just see themselves as natural leaders, but so many of them would not subscribe to that. They tell me, actually, when I was starting out, I wouldn't have thought that I'd be in this position now. How do you define yourself in that context? Do you see yourself as a natural leader, or is it something that you had to develop and work on?
See, I come from a small town in India, and from where I come from, we had a lot of poverty around in the neighborhood. So it was only that my immediate family and my extended family, we were amongst the one who were educated. So naturally, our families were leading the development within our community in terms of making the other community members more stable and grow. So naturally, for that has been kind of built in within our family culture. And from the very beginning, I think since childhood, I remember that I was leading our sports team. Even at school and university, I was leading the team. But I had to work towards it in a way that I did the graduation in chemistry, and then moved on to do a completely different thing, to be a chartered accountant, right? So for that at that point when I graduated, I kind of took a pause for a moment and thought, what am I going to do with this qualification? And that made me realize that I'm not going to go very far with this particular qualification. I need to do something different. And that's when I started to explore the other qualifications like MBAs and other things. And I was introduced to ACCA by my one of my uncle, who then advised me to do the ACCA in the UK. And that kind of changed my career. And today, whatever I am is because of that, my qualification, which I pursued, which groomed me to be an all-round professional.
It's interesting in that very interesting story that you referred back to sport, and you could see certain characteristics. This comes up time and time again in these conversations. A lot of our members who we invite on for this chat, they refer back to playing sports and it helping to form certain characteristics. What sport did you play?
I used to play cricket very much, and I used to lead our school and college and university teams. And I was very active as a sports person. I used to play badminton, volleyball. Even once it happened that swimming was not my forte, but when at the university level, when the professor invited people to participate in the competition, no one came forward, unfortunately. And then he said, we can't just let it go in the inter-university competition like this. So he said, you have to come. And myself, along with few other friends, we just participated, even though we knew that we didn't have any chance to win, but we participated in that. So, naturally, I'm very much into the sports.
So I know the concept of leadership is evolving quite a lot. It's been evolving kind of pre-pandemic, but now the pandemic, I feel, has focused the attention of the world, but leaders, the corporate world, in terms of the role of leadership, the purpose of leadership, the purpose of companies. Do you feel that the purpose of leaders, there's a responsibility to create not only now a great culture for the team, but also that sense of impact in society and the economy for the common good? What's your take on how do you see that evolving as a leader yourself?
Definitely, the culture of giving back to the community it's picking up. However, in my view, what I see as an area for improvement in today's leaders is that we need to improve on the element of empathy, and this can be easily achieved if we can put ourselves in the shoes of the other person before taking any decision. Then that would bring the element of empathy into play, and this is something which will contribute towards the greater good of the community as a whole. We have seen many leaders, doing a lot of social goods and social good, and they also do for many environmental and social and other things. But because they have these KPIs in place, and many a times it could be just a tick box. So when you have the head to heart connection, and you connect with the people, and this is what, if it is improved, then we will not see the kind of wars that we are seeing in today's time.
Yeah, quite true. Final question, Saad. You've been very kind with your time. I appreciate it. What do you think was the best piece of advice that you've received over your career?
There are many advices that are very near to me, but one that I think is the closest to me, and I've implemented that and practiced this very religiously, is that whatever I do, I have to, whether small or big, I have to do it consistently. And this piece of advice is very near to me, and I follow this very religiously. Is because this is someone advised me when my father passed away a few years back, and he said that if you have to do something for your father now, then whatever small or big you do, you have to do it consistently. And because of that reason, it connected with me so much that I kind of practice this very much.
I love it. Very wise words. Saad, thank you so much for your time. Appreciate it. Always great to see you. And thanks for joining me on Successful Perspectives.
Thank you very much, Trevor, for your time. Appreciate it.